Hey folks, so I've recently been rewatching the Echoes of Wisdom trailers and gameplay to hype myself up for this next Zelda game release in around a month's time from now. It looks brilliant, and the new Echoes mechanic looks like some classic Nintendo innovation that will bring hours of brilliant gameplay for us. Between rewatching the announcement trailer, the Tour of Hyrule video, and researching any information and availability through Nintendo's websites, one thing has become very apparent to me about this game. For a top-down Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom appears to be quite big. Now, it is a Nintendo Switch game, and it's the very first brand new top-down 2D whatever smaller Zelda game since Triforce Heroes in 2015, and before that, A Link Between Worlds in 2013. That's 9 years since the last one, so you'd expect it to be bigger, but there's something about this Echoes of Wisdom that feels different. A new type of smaller Zelda game, if you will. In today's video, I want to crack into why The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is much bigger than you might think. From exploration to dungeon challenges. Be sure to go and grab yourself a delicious snack and drink, folks. Subscribe if you aren't already for more fabulous Zelda content coming your way. And let's get into this one. The first thing I'd like to highlight here is the span of the areas we've been shown. Typically in smaller top-down Zelda games, locations are quite tight-packed. Small areas with lots crammed in. However, Echoes of Wisdom appears to be taking a different approach. The world looks wide. Not just big in terms of contents, but wide and expansive. The most obvious example of this is the general overworld. These shots in particular draw strong comparisons to the opening shots of Breath of the Wild, the game that made the move to the more larger open world Zelda games, and I definitely believe that despite this next game being top down, that it'll carry over that aspect and feeling. The feeling of playing in a massive, lively world. From what we've seen so far, there also appears to be a very wide variety of locations, not just on their own, but larger regions with individual locations within, such as the vast Gerudo Desert, containing Gerudo Town, sand dunes, and likely a dungeon as well. There's 2 individual Zora groups in this game, each with their own unique homes and ways of life. The Faron region is just as intriguing as well, bringing back Deku Scrubs and showing us their way of life in this age of Zelda. I could go on and on about how much larger everything seems, but to add perspective to just how big this game appears to be, it's also going to include travel waypoints. These statues will be found across the land, and once activated, allow Link to fast travel to them. Now, there wouldn't be much point in these unless the game was big enough to warrant them. Most top-down Zeldas of the past don't include any form of fast travel or teleportation, they just simply weren't big enough to really warrant that. This game will, and that indicates the size of this world. The fact that these have a place tells us that there will be some amount of land to explore and traverse, which as we progress through the story and locations, it could become quite tedious to travel back and forth on foot. Speaking of which, another sign of the size of this game is the fact that we will be able to travel across Hyrule on horseback. There would not be horseback travel in a small world. It just wouldn't work that well hopping on a horse for a whole 10 seconds. This isn't going to be a typical tight and compact 2D game. It's going to be wide open. There is going to be some amount of land to probably travel on horseback through. We'll have all of these factors played into the Kingdom of Hyrule, making it not only feel a lot bigger, but actually being a lot bigger than you'd think going into this game. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no. We've then also got this new mysterious rift world to consider. It's not quite clear yet if this is going to be its own world or bite-sized sections throughout the world. Regardless, it's more to explore. Those are the base level factors showing us that this game will be physically big for a top-down Zelda game. But it goes deeper than that. The presentation was very Wilds era-like. Now, when I say Wilds era, this is referring to Breath of the Wild and its sequel, Tears of the Kingdom. Games that massively changed the Zelda series by taking the 3D adventures into the open world format. This shot here looking over the kingdom, with the castle taking centre stage, parallels the opening shot in Breath of the Wild, where Link is looking out to the kingdom, with the castle right in the centre. What both of these shots do is is open up our perspective to show us how big the world is. They both start in a much more narrow indoor setting, but then burst into a massive wide shot of the entire world. A world that we could actually go and explore fully. You didn't really see shots like this in previous Zelda games, as they were more compact and linear, without the ability to just get up and go. Now, Echoes of Wisdom probably won't be fully open world in the same way, but compared to past top-down games, I imagine it'll have such a free feeling, especially when using echoes to traverse the land, climbing walls you'd never have been able to before, crossing rivers that you'd normally need to find an alternative route around. It's going to be different. The game logo is also still using the ruined Hylian text that the Wilds era games did. Now, I wish the game had a bit more individual personality to it with the logo, but what this does tell us is that Nintendo wants it to come off similar to the past two games. The presentation and branding say a lot about the size of the game. Now, having a big game with lots to explore is brilliant, but it's not going to work unless there's actual substance and life within. It's been made pretty clear that this world will have life, but one other thing it's going to have is that when you add it in as a factor to the size of this game, things get really exciting. That thing is the lore. This adventure is going to be packed with lore and mysteries for us to uncover. There will be new lore and backstory behind Ganon, a new look at the pig monster seen in games such as A Link to the Past. There's going to be tons of lore and questions behind the rifts and what exactly is going on with them. Is it a dark magic infecting the world? What is going on inside? And just how on earth will we stop it? You've got new Zora lore, which is incredibly fascinating seeing two different types of Zora in the same game. I can't wait to learn about why they don't get on and how that relationship will change as we progress. You've got the Deku returning, the Gerudo, and the Sheikah as well, all with their own stories and lore to discover. There's also Tri and the Tri-Rod, two new incredibly interesting new additions to the series and playing a crucial role in the game mechanic. But the lore behind Tri, possibly connecting to the Tri-Force, will be really fascinating to learn. But then there's the biggest of them all. The never-ending headache of all Zelda fans. The timeline. Where does Echoes of Wisdom take place in the official Legend of Zelda timeline? This is the inevitable question that comes up with any new Zelda game release, even ones that really don't need to be debated. Every single game has this question around it, and despite there being an official timeline, it's still debated how accurate this is at certain points. There are thousands of Zelda timeline theories out there, and there are about to be more trying to place Echoes of Wisdom, adding more depth to the adventure, especially when, like Breath of the Wild, Echoes of Wisdom has little nods to various timelines such as Deku Scrubs, the two Zora groups, the geography of the land, and even the design of Ganon. Only time will tell, but this will undoubtedly add a lot to how we view this game. Now, in the process of making this video, Nintendo actually dropped another video on the game, this time with a focus on that mystery rift world, officially called the Still World. It shows us that it'll have quite a bit of depth to it, from explorable areas crawling with enemies and puzzles, to full-blown dungeons in here. This only adds to how big the game appears to be, and the video also addresses some other worries fans had, such as how the sword combat will be. It's a really cool video, and it even shows off some boss battle footage, exploration of the Still World, and a lot of wee interesting tidbits about it all, so be sure to go check that out after this video. And finally, one other thing that I feel contributes to this is that Echoes of Wisdom is the game to follow up Tears of the Kingdom, the Zelda series' most anticipated sequel ever. This game, while smaller overall, will be looking to carry over the amazing reception both Tears of the Kingdom and the previous game Breath of the Wild revitalised into the Zelda series. This is also why I believe that Echoes of Wisdom has a lot of Wilds era-like feels to it, from the music to the more open feeling of the world. I'm confident that this next Zelda game is going to have a new feeling to it, something we don't normally feel when playing through a smaller top-down Zelda game. Echoes of Wisdom, whilst technically smaller, is going to feel a lot bigger than you expect. That's what she said. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. What do you think about the potential size of Echoes of Wisdom? Will it end up being as big as I believe, or am I wrong? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed, then leaving a wee like down below would be massively appreciated, as well as considering subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more fabulous Zelda content. And if you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting my work here, I also have channel memberships across YouTube and Patreon. A massive thank you goes to all of those channel supporters for helping me to make these videos all the more possible. If you'd like to get yourself access to my inside scoop post, your name at the end of my videos, and a shout out upon joining, then consider supporting the channel through the links below. Also down there are my social media pages and my Discord server if you'd like to keep up to date with me. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.